Get it, got it. 1K, get it. Feed me for my vegetable V8. Whoa! Don't you go doing this nonsense already. You're 20 minutes late. Whoa. Welcome to Metazoo be with you, America's favorite TCG podcast. Our cards might be in a recession, but our memes never are. I am, of course, joined by the greatest TCG store in West Virginia. Spoiler, he's the only. Louis DeGeorge.
What's up? And you are George from Compete Sport, the greatest LGS in Worst Carolina. I don't even know what actual state you're in. Nobody knows what actual state you're in.
Nobody believes that. Like, everybody with half a brain would trade all of North Carolina for half of Charleston. And we would not do the trade. They can have Myrtle Beach.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We've got, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube, and all the places. And then we've got merch.
All right, hold on. Before you get there, put in the comments if you didn't know you could find us on those platforms, because I'm assuming you're already listening to us on one of those platforms.
We also, we're working on a website, too, that'll have some spicy stuff coming up. So George and I have actually been talking actual conversations this week. It's been amazing instead of our usual BS.
I want to go back.
There's been a lot of our usual BS stuff.
If you want to go to Metazoo be with you, important, do not put in www.Metazoo be with you, because it does not work. However, now you can go to www.metazoostore.com and look at my event that ended last week.
And
thank you, Louis.
That? Yeah, thank you. And how long did it take me to fix it after you figured out your password?
About a week.
No, about an hour after you figured out your password.
No, yes. Absolutely not.
Yes.
I'm glad you did it after my event. You really nailed that one, buddy.
Whenever you figure out your password to maythezoobewithyou.com, I can also fix that, which I've asked.
On this exact podcast, you said that you registered the name.
I thought I did, but then I remembered that you stole it out from under me while we were live streaming Monarch, and now you can't remember your password. So you lost the password to our website. I lost the password
to my website is a more apt way of phrasing that. Continue, though.
Cool. Yeah, we'll see who owns it in the future. All right, here we go.
I can just renew it. It's like, this isn't
You can't if you don't have the password.
They send me an email after like 11 months, and then I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's where I registered it. Mondo 1K, let's roll.
Such a boomer. All right, let's talk about what we're talking about today. This is a TCG podcast, so we're not going to talk about websites anymore. We're going to talk about PvE. George hates PvE. And
PvE throwdown.
He hates flesh and blood, so we're going to talk about PvE. And
I have no flesh and blood near me?
I'm going to convince George that PvE is great. And then we're going to talk about the Pro Tour to 1K. There we go. We're going to talk about Pro Tour to 1K. George is going to tell us what he would ask James White. We're going to do Magic the Gathering reserved list buyouts that are happening and talk about the lower tier reserved list buyouts. We're going to talk about Brilliant Stars Wave 3 for Pokemon and George's favorite product, the Pokemon pencils. And then lessons from George's Metazoo event for the Metazoo Minute. So
hugely successful Metazoo event. You misspelled that. Continue. I hope that better be in the title.
It's not. All right. PvE Throwdown. So
explain to me why PvE. There's a million games. Several have tried PvE. Do you know how many have worked?
How many?
None.
That's
absolutely
not entirely
none.
True.
Which TCG PvEs have worked?
So have worked, or what's the World of Warcraft PvE was really good. Everybody loved it.
Let's go. Let me go to Southern and buy some World of Warcraft TCG cards.
Okay, so World of Warcraft TCG failed. It didn't fail because of the PvE.
Oh, it didn't. Okay. So yeah. I can't buy it from distributor then.
No, the TCG failed as a result of bad management or bad decisions or the World of Warcraft IP or whatever. The TCG failed. That doesn't mean that PvE was a bad decision or that it was bad for the game. Wow, no response, huh?
I'm just trying to Google how people can buy an entire collection of World of Warcraft cards. My guess is pretty cheap.
Actually, the PvE cards they have some value.
It's like Tales Unlimited. It's got some value. Just don't tell me.
I actually had some World of Warcraft TCG stuff that I got at a yard sale once when I was in high school.
But like, here's my point to you: Magic tried it, and by all accounts, it was reasonably good.
Try it.
It was true. It was reasonably good.
Magic did not try it. They put out a box set that was Arch Enemy, and everybody loved it. A lot of people loved it. But they never did anything with it. It's the typical Magic.
Why do you think that is? How come none of these companies have figured out that there's this hidden PvE market and all they have to do is figure this out?
It's not that there's a hidden PvE market. It's that there is a way, like Magic doesn't need it. Magic has a casual format in Commander. There is casual gameplay happening for Magic. It's happening
this is not
way
just
more.
A Fab discussion. I think PvE is a mistake for all these games.
Why?
Maybe you could convince me Genesis is an exception. Well, working some grid is great here too, I guess. Like you could convince me that Genesis is the sole, and Sorcery too, if they did it, is the sole exemption to this because it's a grid-based game, so it's like a miniature game with cards.
I do agree that the grid-based games make it better to have the PvE. I agree with that.
But I don't think there's demand for PvE in the marketplace. I don't.
We don't know what PvE looks like for Flesh and Blood.
I don't think it matters what PvE looks like. Let's say it's amazing. Let's say you play and you're like, oh my God, this is the best PvE experience I've ever played.
It would be probably the only PvE experience that you played.
Not true. World of Warcraft.
You played World of Warcraft?
No,
PvE?
of course not.
Right. I'm saying
I'm not going to play PvE for Fab either. I don't do PvE.
You don't know that though. You don't know what it looks like. And my point has always been with Flesh and Blood, always been that Flesh and Blood needed a casual format that could compete with Magic the Gathering. There needs to be a way to get your commander group to say, yeah, let's try playing Flesh and Blood tonight. If you want the game to grow, you have to be able to grow into the casual market. And I've always said that they needed something. And I've always said, I think that something can be PvE if they do it right. And if they do it well.
No. You said it should be PvE.
No,
that's a difference.
That's not. You don't watch my content. How do you know what I said?
Because we talk every day for several hours a day.
I think. How else are you going to do it? Because Ultimate Pit Fight. It's just.
Are you just mad that they called you a terrorist on stream? In that, like, you can tell me. Is that what turned you off of UPF?
We played a lot of Ultimate Pit Fight after that. We played a lot with Josh and I from Hometown TCG. We did a lot of streams.
Oh, plug the podcast. Skimming Skeleton. Go to Bone Zone. Go ahead. Continue.
I'm sorry. We actually play the game. So do me and
Jordan.
Jordan does.
I have played more Fab than you have this last 90 days.
That might be true.
I have played more Metazoo than you have the last 90 days.
That's probably true.
I have played more Genesis than you the last 90 days.
I've had more flooding basements and wiped more diapers.
Lord. How many grandmas of yours have died this last year, do you think? Oh, my grandma again. Every week with you. It's
none of my grandmas have died. Thanks for making me worried about it, though. So, I think Fab needs a way to compete with Commander. Fab's not going to compete with Commander.
This has been a whirlwind segment, boys and girls.
They need a way to compete with casual formats. They need something to
I agree with that.
And PvE is if it's done well, a way to do that.
No.
How else? All right, then explain to me how else would you do it?
Saying that you're going to compete with a casual competitive format with a casual non-competitive format doesn't pass my smell test. The thing about Commander that people like is you're beating somebody.
No.
Absolutely.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
How many games of Commander have you played, George?
Oh, 0.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. So Commander is fun. Like my playgroup for Commander, and I think this is true for most.
Have you never played Commander?
This is true for most playgroups of Commander. It is way more about getting together and playing the game and laughing and eating potato chips. And I don't let people eat. I don't. Nobody at
what type of Lay's bullshit is this? Like sponsored by Lay's?
Yeah,
you can buy them at midmaxgames.com.
Like hanging out, playing the game, but mostly it's just BSing with your friends. I don't disagree
with that, but like But I think having a means to do that in a competitive way makes more sense than a co-op way.
Maybe it makes more sense, but I don't. So I think the idea of Commander and the idea of a casual format is coming to the table with something fun that's creative and that is new and exciting for your play group. Like when your friend shows up with a new Commander deck, it's fun to try to beat it and try to see what it does. And
it's fun to
in the same way when your friend shows up with a new deck for PvE or a new they're like, hey, I've been building a healing class, and they show up and it's fun to see what they did and what they put together and how they solved that puzzle. And that's what I think PvE can do. I do think, and I've said this since day one, I do think that there will be and there should be a competitive element to the PvE where it's not a true PvE like an environment. It's actually more like Arc Enemy, or more like Imperial Assault. Star Wars Imperial Assault is something that I've used to suggest what I want to see in PvE, which is more like you have a dungeon master, somebody who you're playing against as a team, and I think that can be really cool.
That's not PvE, it's one versus all. But more importantly,
the environment just happens to be a person who is controlling the environment.
Okay, then in that case, every game of Commander I've ever played is PvE. It's me versus them. He controls the environment.
But okay, so you use Dungeons and Dragons. Would you consider Dungeons and Dragons PvP or PvE?
PvE.
But what's happening with the Dungeon Master? Wait, George, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah. In high school, middle school, high school.
Okay. Well, so
it's only been 35 years.
60 years ago doesn't count.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's been. I bought it when I was 12. It's been 28 years almost.
So the person in charge would have to stick to a set of rules, but it would probably have to be a little bit more firm than Dungeons and Dragons.
Who wants this? Who is your consumer that's not currently playing Fab?
Oh, see, that's what I think the consumer is. Listen,
so you're just going to be like, thank you for playing Fab. Here's another way to play Fab.
Listen, I like Commander, my Commander group. They want nothing to do with Fab. We played Fab one time. We played an ultimate pit fight game. They had a miserable experience.
Why would you start with UP? That's really on you. I'll be honest with you. Because that's 100% on you. That is 100% on you. Did they call you a terrorist?
This was a year ago. This is a year and a half ago, right when I was first starting. When a lot of things were different, but they didn't
I had a basement that didn't flood.
They didn't like the it was too organized, too competitive, too you couldn't. There was too many rules. You couldn't really control the game yourself. Like in Commander, you can all attack the one guy and basically be like, he's super strong, so we're all going to deal with him. That's what I'm saying. With Commander, you have those elements of working together that you have in PvE, and I don't think that Flesh and Blood is a game that is set up for multiplayer competitive. It just doesn't work because there's no board state, there's no resource system, there's no growth. There's no growth in the game. You actually get weaker as the game goes. It's very difficult to see who is in the lead or who is winning and who you need to team up against. And so PvE provides this opportunity to know that you're working as a team against this person. You're shaking your head again.
I see no demand for this game.
Okay. I also think that this sets up really, really well. And if they don't do this, I will be very disappointed. To work with the LGS to create a really cool avenue.
When I look at my store, I have two different groups. I'd say half the players are super competitive. They're going to New Jersey. They're Googling France flights. They're doing all that stuff that you do when you want to be recognized as a top tier player. Oh,
am I supposed to be doing that? Should I have?
No, they're good at the game. And they, they're not going to touch this. They're not going to touch it. They're not going to consider it.
Yep.
The other half are I would say they're competitive, but not hyper competitive. They play the game every week. They maybe come to maybe 1, maybe 2, sometimes 3 events a week at the store. We do a FAB 3 nights a week. They certainly come to 1. Most of the time, I'd say they come to 2. Every now and then, you'll catch them for the 3rd. I don't see them wanting to play this either. Like, who's playing this?
Why don't you see them wanting to play it?
Because they like the idea of beating their friends. And they're joking with their friends. You will never find a better casual store than my store. Ever. We hang out, we laugh, we joke. I'm not a rules enforcer, except for the national events, obviously, Pro Tour and skirmishes and all that. Then you gotta get a little more serious.
The rest of the time you can just cheat. You can just put whatever pitch you want.
We're not going to battle hardened. Okay, we're not battle hardened. Okay. But like we are like if you want to
you probably have about half as many people as battle hardened though.
Not for some of my events. I probably have more than battle hardened for some of my events. I think that but I mean, like, if you're drafting, it is not a company like, oh my god, I've always wanted a heart, even if you're opening Arcane. It's a joke. You're supposed to laugh. I mean, like, because it was hilarious. Screw you. And like, is that against the rules? Yeah, absolutely. If that happened in New Jersey, you're going to get a talking to from a judge like I did. But like, I don't see them wanting to do PvE still. I don't see this demand. I don't. Like the last game to try it was Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate?
What? Yeah. You know why you never heard of it? It didn't work.
I know what Baldur's Gate. That was a D&D set.
What?
That was the D&D thing?
No. I think maybe it's not Baldur's Gate. The hell is that game called?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate was it. That's why I was confused.
The Baldur's Gate?
Baldur's Gate is a Dungeons and Dragons.
Hold on, boo-boo. I gotta look up
because you were
Gate Ruler.
Like this is so you're using games that the core component of the game failed, and now you're just projecting
like Magic. Magic will never make it. Not gonna make it.
But you're using World of Warcraft and
Magic and Gate Ruler.
But World of Warcraft or Magic didn't do a PvE. They've never done that. They did.
We just discussed in the beginning of the segment how they did do that.
They did Arc Enemy. That's all they did.
Yes.
They did one little box set cash grab.
Why do you think they didn't do a second?
Because I told you this already. If you would listen, they don't need to. They already have a viable,
why does Magic not need to, but Fab does need to?
Because Magic has a viable, super successful casual format, and Fab does not. Fab does not have a casual format that is a exciting, fun to play casual format with multiple people that is engaging.
Just draft.
That is not that is not casual.
Why is it not casual? Explain to me what casual means.
Casual means you show up, your friends who don't really know how to play the game, you can sit down, you can play with them, you can teach them how to play, you can help them, you can work with them, you can build janky.
Why can you do where have you lost draft in this? Like what of what you just said can I not do in draft? I have taught more than 1,000 players to play this game, all using Welcome to Wraith draft.
You can do that for sure, but it's like it doesn't work for your commander crowd. It doesn't work.
Why?
I just don't think it does. I think that 4-person, you're casually playing the game. You're building really janky decks. You're building things specific around maybe it's a budget. Maybe it's a specific around some sort of mechanic that's not typically used. You build your Cheyenne deck. You build your whatever, things like that you can't see in other formats of the game. And there's no place for that in the rest of Flesh and Blood. This solves that. I would also be fine with them creating a better version of Ultimate Pit Fight.
I think UPF is great the way it is. It really pisses you off. That's my favorite part about the game, to be honest with you.
You do not think that. How many games of Ultimate Pit Fight have you played?
0.
How many have you played at your store?
We had an event of it.
Yeah. How'd that go?
I did not get close to battle hardened numbers.
No.
UPF might not have been my store's favorite event.
Yeah. So like
we're doing an event this week for it.
Yeah, let me know how that goes. So I think PvE is a different idea, a unique solution to the problem, and I think it can be great. We'll see. One of us will be right, one of us will be wrong.
I'm not worried at all. There is no demand for PvE.
So
None.
I think it also matters how they do it, and this is
it does not matter how they do. That's my point.
100% matters.
That's my point. If the best PvE, nobody will still want it.
If you put out, and this is what I've said for almost a year and a half now.
Yep.
If you had a box set that was available everywhere on Channel Snowball, hopefully they're not.
Are you really doing the Rudy thing now with Channel Snowball? I get you're trying to be like Rudy, but can you try to hide it a little bit better? I mean, Jesus.
They do the
and the Yuglios and all that stuff. Is that what you're going with?
You sell a regular product, a box product that comes out maybe every 3 months. You have a new box product that is a new PvE experience that hold on, boo-boo, that you play. It's $12. It's like a blitz deck. It's a new PvE experience that your dungeon master gets to do, and it's sold everywhere and online and all these places. And then you have an armory kit version that's completely different, that is specific to you as a local game store, that has really, really cool loot and treasure. And if you beat the boss at your local game store, you get a cold foil, blah, 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 blah. That is a promo that the only way to get it is to go in and bring your team to go beat this. And I think there's a really cool way for the LGS to be engaged with that will make the community really excited and will drive people to what their vision is to get people to play at the local game store. I think that would be
in the flesh and blood. Continue.
In the flesh and blood. I think that would be a really, really great avenue and something that would excite people for the format. It'd be a great marketing tool for that. They could do the whole marketing plan, which is go to your LGS and play this thing. They have to do it right in order for it to be successful, but that doesn't mean that it can't be successful.
I'm glad you're betting your hopes for PvE on LSS's marketing team. I think that's a really great decision.
Don't hear me wrong. That needs to happen.
Yeah.
This is the point. People like you won't give it a shot because
listen, I will guarantee you when they put it in the armory kit, I will host the first event. I will promise you. I will also promise you. I will promise you that I will have less players there than when I draft or do CC. Guaranteed. Yeah,
probably 100%.
So what's the point?
You'll have different people there.
I won't. That's the problem.
Well, your store's weird.
That's the problem. I don't
weird.
think this brings anybody into the fold. It adds another option for those who are already in it. That's the problem.
I think this would make it easier to invite your other people who don't want to play competitive flesh and blood into playing. You can build decks for them. They can show up. You can help them through the game. You can it's just different.
Why can't they? They can do that with any format. There is no format. I have never taught somebody without open hand saying, hey, listen, for the first couple games, we're going to play open hand where I see your hand and you see my hand, and we're going to learn together.
Yep.
And guess what? I didn't do that with PvE. I did that with draft. I did that with CC. Heck, I've done it with Blitz, the world's worst format. Sorry, Mod Auditor. But I like Mod Auditor. I want to give him a shout out. I got a warning in your Discord, and Mod Auditor has not. So I want to give a shout out to Mod Auditor. I want to be as well behaved as you are one day. Continue.
All right. We can just agree to disagree, and one of us will be right and one of us will be wrong. We have both spoken our sides of this. I think there's a different demographic for it. Maybe that demographic's not at your store.
You haven't told me who that is. The problem is you're people who are in Commander but don't play Fab.
People who want a casual multiplayer format who don't want to play a one-on-one format.
So let me ask you, do you think this is going to bring people over to Flesh and Blood?
Yes.
Okay, that's where we disagree. All right, next topic.
Perfect. Next topic, Pro Tour to 1K.
Get it, got it. 1K, get it.
So they put out an announcement. We've been talking about Pro Tour and our expectations for it for months.
Not going to lie. I'm glad we kicked Mitch off the podcast. His prediction was closer than mine.
For the record, everyone, we did not kick Mitch off the podcast. Once he's doing his farewell episode.
Whatever you decide to schedule it, boo-boo. We also have to
I don't schedule things. Why is this a thing? When we started this podcast, what did I say to you?
I'm bad at podcasting. Please carry me.
I said, I don't have time to organize all the podcasts.
Okay. That is not at all what was said. Just so we're clear. That is like nothing could be further from the truth of what you just said.
I said, I don't have time.
Like that is.
I said, I already put out.
That is so.
No, it's not.
That is so. That is the exact opposite of what you said.
No, it's not. I said, I don't have time.
You probably said, oh my God, my basement is flooding.
I said, I don't have time. I make too much content. I don't have time to organize it. You two talk about what we're talking about, and then I'll show up and record it. That's what I said. What'd you do to your microphone? What happened to your mic stand? How do you still not have a mic stand?
I can't afford it. They don't get any money from the Metazoo Be With You t-shirts.
Okay. You can't afford it after your Ethereum buy yesterday.
Get it. Womp womp. We'll have that in a minute. Bond to 1K, Ethereum to 1K.
Ethereum to 1K. You'll be able to trade Monarch boxes.
1K.
Soon you'll be able to trade Monarch boxes for an entire Ethereum.
Right. Everybody wants to do that trade. Hit me up. I got you, boo. So like, yeah. So I believe Mick said 700, and I believe I said 3,000.
I think I said 1,200.
Yeah, you're gonna win.
I'm so good. I beat you guys on the Crucible and the Monarch thing. I'm gonna win the Pro Tour thing. Pretty sure I won New Jersey.
I thought I'll be honest. I thought I was being safe at 3,000 people. I'm gonna be real with you. I thought there was gonna be 5,000.
Why?
So Metazoo at Clavecicon had 3,000 plus people go through their booth.
Okay, that's a massive difference.
The game's been out half the length of time.
One of those is playing a game and organizing and doing the whole thing, and one of those is going to a convention.
No. There's 1,000 people signed up for everything.
I understand.
I thought there was gonna be. I thought there was gonna be 3,000.
I mean,
thank God Mick is not here to rub in my face. Sorry, Mick. I'm drinking coffee in your honor. I got some new coffee yesterday in your memory. R.I.P.
I do not understand coffee. I don't like. Do they taste different? Different coffees?
No, they all taste like strawberry kiwi V8.
Because all the strawberry kiwi V8s taste the same. All right,
poison.
1,000. I mean, this is. I've said for a while that the flesh and blood back door is as big as the front door, that the amount of people coming into the game right now is as big as the amount of people who are going out of the game. And I think it makes sense that the game would be about the size as it was in Vegas of last year. I think that makes sense.
No, boo-boo. You're not getting away with this nonsense on my channel.
A, it's my channel. B, it's not nonsense. C, continue. You have my permission to keep going.
I mean, like, I didn't have your making good coffee, yet here I am. Hold on.
Make today great, everyone.
Oh.
This is great. Make today a great day, everyone. Continue.
So this is this is our first really big international event, I would argue.
Yeah.
That was not true for Vegas. There was 18. No. What?
No, it was not true for Vegas. I agree with you.
Right. So like there are like some of the 1,000 are coming from the land of poutine, the land of hobbits, the land of baguettes, the land of kraut, the land of, I know they have in Mexico, enchiladas,
the land of hobbits,
the land of, what's in Africa? Somebody help me.
Certainly New Zealand has something more to offer than Lord of the Rings.
Yes, flesh and blood.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, and sorcery. What else?
God, it's a great episode.
I want to pump my new idea for us, but I'll do it later.
I thought you were going to talk about the game we discussed. You decided we were not going to talk about, and I was going to go off on you. I was ready to tear you a new one. I want you to know that. The audience saw my face light up with joy.
I'm sure I'm sure we'll talk about it soon.
Oh my God! How many new games will you pump in 1 week?
I'm not pumping anything. I just
Louis DeGeorge story.
Gosh, I really need to get a new co-host on this podcast. Can I get Mitch back? Is it an option to vote you off? No, the comment section likes you too much. The algorithm.
Everybody does.
and I like the views too much. So, all right.
That's the problem. I'm great for views and terrible for content.
All right, what were we talking about? Oh, you're saying everyone's coming from all over. This is
the first international event. That's why I had my numbers so high. Yeah. I thought there would be roughly the same number of people who were in Las Vegas in the U.S. That's about 1,200 people. I thought you were going to have 400 or 500 from the land of hobbitses. My precious.
400 or 500 from New Zealand?
Yeah, in Australia. It's all the same country.
They're never mind. It's like half their population.
That's fine. There is nothing else to do in New Zealand except for watch Lord of the Rings and play Flesh and Blood. Don't at me. What's their? Don't they have meat pies? Isn't like one of their national delicacies?
I have no clue.
In the comment section, right? I think they have delicious meat pies. All I know
is when I started the YouTube channel, I started looking to see if New Zealand utilized physician assistants, because I was like, oh, New Zealand seems like a great place to live. If the YouTube channel gets some traction,
for Fab,
I can move to New Zealand for Flesh and Blood. And then the YouTube channel went a little bit of a different direction with the relationship with LSS, but is what it is. That's why I reached out to them so many times to try to connect, but that was the goal.
This has been Metazoo be with you. Maybe our best episode ever.
But, yeah. Anyway.
Were you really going to move to New Zealand for Fab?
That's what the idea was. Like, I don't know. The goal. Figured at some point they would need some sort of
marketing help.
Some sort of marketing or social media manager. Yeah,
they can't afford it yet, Louis. I learned this last week on this episode. My pizza place down the street can.
New Zealand's beautiful. Have you seen Lord of the Rings? I mean, it's just like a gorgeous.
I'm not going to Mordor.
If James White just would have not driven that red car in the background, it would have been great. I assumed that it was him. Everybody else was filming the movie.
So, anywho, I think you'd have 1,200 from the Land of Freedom and Buc-ee's.
What are we talking about?
The Land of Freedom and Buc-ee's would have 1,200. 500-ish would come from the Hobbitses.
Okay.
I'm at 1,700. 1,000 from Europe. The market's equally as big as the U.S.
What are you on?
What?
Listen.
I go by what I'm told.
You have some horrible takes. This is one of them.
There's 20,000 professional players.
That nobody believed that number.
I did.
No, you did not. Nobody who read that article believed that number. That article said there were 200,000 players and 20,000 professional players, and that a Heart of Feyenoord was worth $50,000.
I got one for sale for $450,000. Hit it up my DMs.
It came out like a month after a Heart of Feyenoord sold in a lot with a bunch of other cards for $22,000.
Maybe you should have sent them your market update.
I thought they watched it.
Why do you assume? There's only one thing on your channel worth watching, and they're watching it right now, and it's available on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
And it's sponsored by who's our sponsor today?
Caster Society.
Good Lord. I'm done. I'm so done with this podcast. Okay, that's So
anywho, no BS. That's how I came to my number.
Okay,
I was wrong.
You were wrong.
My data might be off a little bit.
So a couple things.
Maybe PvE will work.
Here's where I came to my number of 1,200, which was accurate. Vegas was the first major event in U.S. history.
Take that, Constitution. America's history starts on Monarch pre-release.
Tales of Aria. It was Tales of Aria. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It was Tales.
Yeah, I was there, unlike you. So, Vegas was.
How do you like supporting Channel Fireball? Did that feel good for your soul or bad out of curiosity?
Whatever. Vegas was the first major event in the United States. It was the first event that a lot of people went to post-COVID. I mean, remember how many people were excited to do something with their life? They'd been sitting inside for...
Now look at us. We're here F5ing Ethereum prices.
I bought Ethereum last night at 2:30 in the morning. That is a mistake that nobody should have to make in their life. All right. Anyway, Sorry, we're very hung up on the Ethereum crash this week.
Not me, baby.
So it was the first major event, post COVID for TCGs. A lot of people went to there, and it was the first event for the community. It was also, I don't want to shy over this, not in New Jersey.
Okay.
It was
this is the Mick dedication episode. I learned from Mick that New Jersey is the best state in America.
It was in Vegas, which is
God, I really don't like Las Vegas. Would I rather go to Las Vegas, New Jersey? I'd rather go to Las Vegas.
It was a place that people wanted to go, not just for the event, but an excuse. What?
We're going to have 15 viewers next week because we've insulted the entire world in the entire Northeast now.
No, listen, I think New Jersey's, it's fine. But a lot of people would look at a lot of people would look at the Flesh and Blood Vegas thing and be like, oh man, I've always wanted to go to Vegas. Let's go. A lot of people look at the New Jersey thing and say, I don't really care to go to New Jersey. And then somebody says, well, it's right by New York City. And a lot of people say, I've been to New York City once and I don't want to do it again.
Wow.
No, New York City has that attitude. A lot of people don't want to deal with New York City because it's so big.
I love a good bagel.
Oh gosh. It's all about food. It's all about food. Also, okay, so now let's talk about the international crowd.
And Mike's in New York, I think. Go see the goat.
The international crowd, it's got to be expensive. And then they announced Pro Tour. They announced Pro Tour Europe the same time. So why would you come if you're in Europe? Why would you come all the way to the United States instead of just going to Pro Tour Europe whenever it happens?
Because you can see what freedom feels like.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that anymore either, to be honest.
Wow. Woo.
All the countries are horrible. There's just human beings are the worst.
But they don't have Buc-ee's in Europe.
Is that true?
Yeah. Buc-ee's is banned from all of Europe.
What do they eat? All right. So 1,000. It doesn't surprise me.
That's surprising to me. I mean, keep in mind, I'm gonna go back to the zoo here for a minute. The zoo has 18,000 events this year. They're in Dallas in a couple of weeks where you won't be because you said you would be. So I know you won't be there. There's Charlotte.
I was looking
Charlotte the week after that. There's California after that. There's five. There's a dozen. There's half a dozen events, and their smallest event will have 1,200, 1,500 people. I expect Dallas will have 5,000 people, maybe more.
I would totally believe that. Again, I think it's completely different. How many people are going to play in the event? The Casters Cup?
No idea. But I think it's a more we're gonna give this my lessons learned the event thing. I think that's a terrible gauge because I think Metazoo is a lot more casual.
I agree. It's a completely different event.
I will guarantee you, I will play a game of the zoo. I don't think I'm going to sign up for the pro. I don't think I'm going to sign up for the 250. I might though.
But my point is that you're comparing apples and oranges. The Collecticon is it's just a completely different thing. I think
it's basing my numbers off of. I thought there were to be a similar number of people. I'll be honest.
I think though, I think even if you said, okay, Flesh and Blood is going to do a convention or whatever, I think you're still comparing to a game that's people are looking to collect and looking to be there to experience and to get the promos and to do all those things. They're marketing it in that way. Flesh and Blood is marketing in hey, you're a high competitive player, come to our Pro Tour. It's two completely different events.
Yeah. What's Yorick? How do you get Yorick again? I don't remember that. Yorick the card. What was that? How do I get that again? I gotta look that up later.
You just register.
Oh, you just register and go to the convention and you get a promo.
I don't care. I'm done defeating. You can be right. It's fine. I was right about PvE. You can have this one. That's all right with me.
Victory.
1-1.
V-Day. Wait, Victory Day? Yeah, that's right.
All right,
an event that does not exist in American history according to Louis because it starts with Tales.
It's 41 minutes into this podcast. Would you like to get into the James White discussion, or do you want to just move on and we can move on?
Move on.
I'm sure you know. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Part 3, Magic the Gathering.
What happened to what's part 2?
That was the Pro Tour to 1K.
What's part 1?
PvE.
Oh, I thought you separated it by game, like a good content creator would.
Here? Have you been here?
I don't watch our podcast.
Yeah. All right. Part 3.
It is on your channel.
Magic the Gathering.
If you put our podcast on Josh's channel, I'd watch it.
Magic the Gathering reserved list buyouts. I want to know your take. Huh? I'm not cranky. I'm having this has been, in my opinion, other than the episodes with Mitch, this has been our best episode.
This is the best of the last 4 episodes.
Yeah. This has been the best episode. All right. I'm awake. My energy's kicking in. So it's like 41 minutes in. Now we can
I told you to wake up an hour early to drink your stupid energy drink, just so we're clear.
This is 9:30 that we started the podcast. I told George I would do the podcast at 9:30. I said I don't want to get up at 9. He said, well, you're still going to have to get up at 9. I'll call you and make sure you're up at 9. I said, if you call me and wake me up before my alarm goes off at 9:20, I will be upset with you. All right. Reserve list buyouts. What are you doing? Who are you texting? Who is more important?
Somebody's trying to fleece me on an alpha box. I told him to no.
Alpha boxes are up this week.
I told him that. Yeah.
All right. Reserve list buyouts. So what's your thoughts on these like low caliber, $3 to $8 reserve list Magic the Gathering cards that people are buying out in groups and whatever?
A, I don't care. It's Magic. B, they're assholes, but that's all right. Like,
why are they assholes?
Like, because they're not playing with the cards.
Oh God.
Like, they're not playing with the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're buying 20,000 copies of a card that like will never be played with again. I think it's kind of a jackass move.
Yeah. How many boxes of alpha do you own?
I think 42. 43.
Oh, so those are cards that will never get played with and never get played.
Hey, I sold 2 this week, baby.
Like,
play with them. That's actually
like, what is that argument?
I like buying out. If I owned every box of alpha, that would make me an asshole.
But they're not. Oh, okay, so this is the point you should have gone with: is more copies will come to the market instantly.
Yeah, of course. But like that's not going to be true with this. Like if you buy out every card of I don't know what card it is, like I just think that's kind of scumming.
So well then I'm an asshole. So
yeah, I know that I've known that long before this conversation. I've been on the podcast with you for almost a year.
I'm part of a group that
shocking.
Everybody chips in a certain amount of money, the same amount of money, and there's 50 slots. And we might be doing this in the Discord server too. Everybody chips in a certain amount of money, and there's 50 slots. And 3 people are in charge, and they take the money and they find the card. They pick the card for the month, and then they do a buyout with everybody's money, and then they organize and ship everybody the cards that are like percentage wise. So like everyone gets the same number of near mint copies, everyone gets the same number of like play copies, everyone, and nobody knows what the card is other than the 3 people. So like one of our recent purchases, Hammerheim from Legends, I got 5 copies for my price point, which was an average of about $5 each, and now the light played versions are selling on TCG Player for $35 each.
Wait, what did you buy it at?
Basically $10 each.
So this is I think this is like, I'm glad you will call others out for doing this with Fab and then do it with Magic, by the way. That's very nice of you. Yes? Yes, what were you saying, Louis?
We'll talk about why it's different in a second.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Why is it different?
I called out. I said they're not smart buys.
So if they did actually make it so that they could not play with the cards, that would be okay with you.
So like, let's use Silver Palms. Okay. They bought it out. I have no problem with buyouts. No problem with it. They bought out Silver Palms, but they bought out a card that was still being opened in mass. They bought out Silver Palms.
I'm not saying they were smart. They bought out. What did they buy out Bravo at?
At 220. They bought
220. Oh,
yeah, they bought Bravos. They probably bought 40 of them, which is a massive number in Flesh and Blood, from a price of $100 to $225.
Wait, 100 or 200?
$100 to $225. They bought it up to $200.
So what's that now?
$70. You know why? because more were opened because it was a brand new set that just came out. These are Legends cards that are 28 years old. Like,
I don't like it. I don't like it. I also don't think it's liquid. Like, that's the other problem. Like, I don't think it's smart, and I don't think it's good.
Bingo. That's right. This is the
if people didn't want the card at 10, they're not going to want it at 35.
100%. So this is why I don't think it's a completely different dynamic. One is the reserve list cards are already most of them don't see much play. I mean, like, they don't. Like, Hammerheim is like a card that's really good against something with land walking. Like, nobody plays. I'm
glad you're looking it up right now. We can all see you looking it up right now.
Yeah, I just had to read the card. Nobody plays land walking in their deck, so it's not like a card that's like, you know, needed or played or whatever. It's all collector pieces. And that's the point I wanted to argue with you or get into with you is like the reserved list buys. I just think it's fun. Like, I don't ever sell the cards. Like, I know that the price will go back down. Like, I know I should sell one of them right now at $35 to get it in. But like, I want a reserve list collection, and this is a really fun way to just get a natural reserve list collection. What? What? I think, like, I rather us, like, when it goes back down, do it again and like double up, because eventually there will run out of cards.
Eventually, but nobody wants the cards.
That's not true. And it's specifically not true. Like, if you're building a Legends set, you want the cards. It's also specifically,
how many new Legend sets do you think get made every year?
Yeah, but when they release a new commander in their next
also,
commander
if you're building a Legend set, you probably have buddies who have 25,000 of these because they're looking for the 2 or 3 high-end cards.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're not calling Louis being, hey Louis, I gotta get that card that's good against Planeswalkers. Let's go, buddy. I need it. I need the Landwalker card.
It also opens up, like, if for like Hammerheim, if they did print a commander that has landwalking or that gives things landwalking, it makes those cards spike, and that's when you would sell them. Like, that's when you would play it out. I don't know. I think it's such a weird market.
It's like awful. I think it's awful and stupid. That's the problem. I think it's both.
I don't understand why you think it's awful.
Because what you just said, you're making the casual format more expensive.
No, but you just said nobody plays with the cards anyway.
No, that's not what I said. I said they can't because you make it too expensive too.
No, you said no one plays with those cards.
I did not say that.
You said there's a reason they've been so cheap for so long.
I did not say that. You are just making things up in your head right now. 100%. You are 100%. Like go back. Thankfully, this is recorded, and we do this all the time on the phone. And then you're like, you just talk, you never listen. And yeah, go back and rewatch this. I did not say anything of what you just said. I said.
Okay.
Like, at all. Like,
I don't know. I don't know what you said. I was reading my card. I got my book, How to Read.
You did this yesterday. What did you do this yesterday on the phone? We were talking, and you were like clearly doing 18 things instead of talking, and we were talking about something important. Oh, you were doing the stupid website, and we were trying to do the stupid bundles, and you were like, "Oh, geez, I can do 2 things at once." Then the phone just went silent for 5 minutes.
Because you finally got your login information, and I wanted to fix it before you changed your login information for some stupid reason, which you did.
Gotta keep the hackers out. Gotta keep the hackers out.
You send login information over the internet like my mom does, for the record.
That's fair. That I can't say anything about that. That's a fair critique.
He spreads it out over multiple. It's probably smart, but like, I don't know. Who's trying to hack your May the Zoo Be With You website login information? The $10 website.
James White in the Hobbitses.
Anyway,
they're trying to put it back to fleshandblood.com.
I think it's super interesting, the reserve list stuff, that people are going after low tier cards. Like the $10, because we are not the only group that's doing this. We basically,
of course not. There's a bunch of you assholes.
Yeah. And it's
is Rudy in your group?
Yeah.
Is he really?
No.
Okay.
Rudy has better things to do than buy
Yes.
$10 Legends cards.
This doesn't make sense. Like, that's the problem. Not only is it kind of scummy, it also doesn't make sense.
I don't agree that it's scummy.
But you agree it doesn't make sense.
Why? I agree it doesn't make sense. Well, I think it makes sense if you're going to sell the card. Like, if you're going to flip it, if you're a flipper, it makes sense. If you're me, it doesn't make sense. You just like owning things. This is why I bought Pokemon cards yesterday. Like, vending machine Pokemon cards, not going to go up in value. But it's
why
a cool
do you
collection.
do this?
Because it's a cool collection. It's a cool collection.
Just buy Metazoo, man. That's all you need to buy.
I have Metazoo.
Need more Metazoo.
All right, that was our. That did not go the way I thought it was gonna. I thought the conversation was gonna be better, but
that'll take you.
Let's move on. Brilliant Stars Wave 3.
Don't care about that. I'm gonna talk about the pencil case, dude.
Okay. Pencil case, new set. You love it.
I'm gonna buy the ever living daylight.
Why?
These are awesome. So for those of you who don't know, we should probably provide some context. We will get yelled at in the comments about not providing any context. We're just like, dude, pencil case, amazing. Pokemon is releasing a pencil case that has packs and stuff in it, and you can buy it at your local LGS.
That's cool. It's called like a back to school product.
Back to school pencil case pack, and you can also buy a blister pack that has an eraser in it. That's
cool. So you can erase your mistakes if you're a terrible student.
Unlike you, these kids can probably read, so like they do make mistakes, they need to correct them.
Did we talk about the episode was this in my Discord server? When I was in elementary school, we had a currency that was pencil leads. So like when your pencil broke, it was worth 1 of the currency, and then the eraser, the like the gold or the silver or the blue or whatever, we had different values in our elementary school on what they were worth. So like everyone was like breaking their pencils and like taking off the cap, and we would like trade and buy Pokemon cards with pencil, or like it was like a currency because nobody had money. So it's amazing. Was that on this that we talked about that?
That was definitely not on this episode because I would have judged you for this.
Yeah, it was crazy. We had like a whole currency. There was like a chart up on the front of the that we made, and we put it on the whiteboard, or it was probably a chalkboard at that time. But yeah, anyway, so you could buy and trade Pokemon cards with currency that we didn't have. Anyway, pencils, that's cool. So it brings people into the local game store, which I think is awesome.
I think this is an awesome product. I am super hyped for this product.
Yeah.
It's also going to be like, I think like one of my big takeaways from the zoo has been you want to infiltrate people's lives in more ways than just the TCG.
Right.
Like that is what Metazoo has done very well, I think.
Right.
And I think
which is
like
what Pokemon does.
Yes. And I think like this is another way for Pokemon to do that. And I think that's very
Have
smart.
they not done this before?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a pencil case. I know they did back to school stuff before. They do the lunch boxes, but now they made Pokemon. If you're listening to this, you used to do this amazing lunch pail thing that had like a bunch of stuff in it. Now it's cardboard. Go back to metal.
No, they have metal. I just got them. I just got them.
Which one?
I just got them this week. The Arceus ones.
I have been in my store this week after the Metazoo thing.
I just got them in. My daughter just opened one yesterday.
I'm gonna go to the store today and look it up.
Yeah, it's like a lunch pail with a.
Okay. So the last ones were metal before this one. That was like very sad.
No, they were plastic. I remember those too, and I think they're the same cards, and I think that the same stuff. I think maybe they had a supply issue, and so they.
Okay, that's fine. As long as they're continuing to be metal, I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I like the metal ones.
Yeah, way better. The plastic ones,
way better.
My daughter uses them, and it doesn't shut all the way. The plastic one, and she says, "Shut this." I'm like, "It is shut, honey. I don't know what to tell you. It's shut. I can't shut it anymore." And she screams and yells, and yeah, it was a disaster. I threw it away. She went to
Parenting
sleep.
101.
Parenting
you come
101.
here to learn about TCGs, you stay for the parenting advice.
Parenting 101.
Your kid cries at you, throw that shit away. Next.
When she goes to sleep, you throw it away. She doesn't ever remember it. It's perfect. All right. So Brilliant Stars, though.
How do I Google trust issues on this thing? I gotta look this up. Hold on.
Wave 3. Brilliant Stars appears to be nothing.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think I might get a case. I don't know. I haven't gotten it yet.
Appears to be no Wave 3, although they said that Wave 3 is out, but it seems to be about the same supply as the
out?
Flesh and
Hold on,
Blood
let's look it
history
up.
packs.
Hey, be nice. Be nice.
Which means, I mean, do you think we see a Wave 4 Brilliant Stars?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't know. Pokemon's wild. Like, they're just going to randomly produce it one day, and like the market's going to tank. I love that.
I
love
see them
that.
doing just ETBs though. For the next round.
Doing ETBs.
Like,
What is
that's
Brilliant
nuts.
Stars? Hold on.
Because Brilliant Stars is already super expensive.
Is it really?
It's like Brilliant the other day. I mean, it's come down a little bit. 130.
That's not bad.
It was at 145 though for a while.
That's not bad either.
Yeah, I mean that's good. I think it'll be interesting. This set's super good. It'll be interesting if the supply is still low.
I don't have my numbers for Astral Radiance yet for one of the distros.
Yeah, I don't have my numbers from either because
I get a lot. It's amazing. I do love Pokemon.
You get a lot, which means I can get more if I need to. I
don't know. You've been pretty mean this week. I don't know.
It's fine. That's our relationship. The meaner I am, the more boxes you give me.
I worked with Kamigawa, and that backfired terribly.
Yes, it did. Just with the Japanese ones, though.
Yeah, that's all you get.
All right,
that was tough. That was a tough set.
Why?
I couldn't get as much as I ordered normally. Normally, they're like, "Oh, here's another couple cases." They're like, "Here's one case." I'm like,
Everyone was all in. All right.
I'm still ordering some. Got to get me some Capenna. I got the face.
Too. Yeah, I think Capenna is still super good. The gilded gold ones are moving up in the world.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm. All right, Part 5, Metazoo Minute. Lessons from your big mega event.
Go.
How many people did you have there, George?
36-ish.
Wow, that's really good.
I had half the number of battle hardened with 1/20th of the prize support. That's pretty good.
That's great. What was we talked about this on the phone.
First, big shout out to Castro Society for helping with the event.
Yeah.
Easton, Bat, Chris, awesome people. It was great hanging out with them. Great event ran by them. Could not have done it without them. They were wonderful.
I was watching your live stream.
Where was that? That was on the Castro Society website, right?
Yeah, because you never called me to get my login info like you said you were gonna. Yeah.
Be better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Get good.
You lied to everyone on this podcast. George lied to you. He said it was going to be streamed on my channel.
I thought you would be on top of it. That was really my fault, really.
I had a flooding basement, and I locked myself out of my car 3.5 hours away.
You say it 5 times in an episode, you win bingo. Spoiler, we all just won bingo.
All right. What were your takeaways from your event?
I had a lot of takeaways. Takeaway number uno. It is a way more family-friendly game than any other game I carry.
Yeah.
Maybe except Pokemon. But even that, I would push back because nobody plays Pokemon in my store anymore. Mm-hmm. They all collect it.
Yeah.
They played Pokemon. Metazoo, I'm sorry. I had 3 families there. And I'm talking about families, kids, all that stuff. And that's very rare for my store because we're on a military base. So it's a bunch of students and retired people.
Do you think that more families play Metazoo, of the families interested in Metazoo and Pokemon, more families play Metazoo because it's an easier game to pick up as a result of the similarities to Magic?
Yes, absolutely.
So like the parents already kind of understand how to play, so they're like, all right, here we go. You know, it's just the learning curve. I mean, there's enough differences in it to make it a different game. But
I get that people don't love land-based economies and games. I do. Mm-hmm. Like I do think there's like, it's like, you know, I had a game of Metazoo where like I got wrecked. I couldn't pull my auras. Mm-hmm. Like totally wrecked. Like just got destroyed. But like, listen, like they did that for a reason, because it is something that like everybody, frankly, my age and younger understand. We all started with Magic.
Right.
And so like teaching the game is a lot easier when you can be like, just like Magic X. This is like Magic Y. These are the differences.
Yeah.
I think that was a really smart decision. I mean, listen, like I had a lot of families.
That's good.
Like we probably had, I'll bet you 12 kids come in and out. They didn't play in the tournament. They came in and out. They learned to play. They got a free deck. They get all that stuff. It was fun.
That's cool. It's also, I think, the cryptic, like the cryptid side of things makes it more interesting because like you've been talking to your kids about Bigfoot. When you're a kid and you're in 3rd grade, people talk about Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but
and Goose Creek has a cryptid that's in the set now.
Yeah, the purple, the pink mess.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Mike. Goat. And like, people lost their mind when they opened that card.
Yeah.
And like, listen, the card's worthless, right? It's like it's like one of the it's one of the cheapest cards in the set.
Yeah.
But like, and I think like that's what Metazoo understands is that like value and excitement don't necessarily go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like that card is worth 50 cents.
Yeah. And I think this is where,
like when you opened it in a pack that you paid $3 for, you were over the moon.
Yeah. I think that kind of similar, like the next set UFO, like space is such a thing that like kids are interested in and obsessed with. And like, I think that that's a really good direction for
my moon watch today for it.
There you go. That looks like a regular watch to me. Your moon watch to tell you the time on the moon.
Oh my God. This is the watch that they wear to outer space.
What
this is the real one. This is not the BS Sapphire one. That's
the watch that they wear in outer space.
This is the one the astronauts wear. This is one of the watches
Why?
for astronauts. Because when you break this, it doesn't shatter into a million pieces, it just cracks. So when you hit it, it can't clog up your equipment.
Help me understand why an astronaut is wearing a watch like that in space.
Oh, this one has a chronograph, so it saved like the Apollo 11 people, if you ever saw that movie.
Oh, all the way like 80 years ago when you were in college. That's who used it in space. Like they're not using that watch in space now.
This is absolutely the watch you wear in space today.
Why do they need a watch like that in space?
Wait, is the answer like why do they need this watch or a watch?
Why do a watch? Why do they need a metal watch with that in space? They're in space. They have a spacesuit on. They can't see their wrist.
You do know they can still see in space, right? They're not blind.
They can't see their wrist. They can't go like this. They have a spacesuit on. Are you mean like they're hanging out in the cabin and they have that watch on? Why do they need a special watch for that?
For the reason I literally just said. When it breaks, it doesn't shatter.
Gotcha.
It also has a chronograph.
I don't know what that is.
It means it can tell that it's a timer. It's a stopwatch basically on your wrist.
Just called a stopwatch. You don't have to be fancy. It's not that type of establishment.
My basement's flooding, and it's a manual wind versus an automatic wind, meaning you have to wind the watch for it to stay powered.
Why is that better in space?
So
does the gravity jack up the automatic winding?
Yeah, because it has a rotor, and the rotor doesn't work as well in space. It's cool. It's a moon watch. Let me see. I think it probably has. This was the old one. This is the old version. This is the best version.
Yeah.
The new version looks terrible.
They stopped selling that like 1962, right?
Like 2 years ago, and it has like, and you probably won't be able to see it.
I can't.
It has.
I also lost interest like 5 minutes ago. All right. Oh my gosh.
Flight qualified by NASA for all manned space missions.
I'm disappointed in you.
The first watch worn on the moon.
I'm disappointed in you. You're not wearing your Metazoo watch. You must not like Metazoo.
If that were the case, if I had to like only have one watch and I hate all other watches, I'd be really sad.
They should make a Metazoo moon watch for the UFO set. The UFO set should be that watch, but Metazoo face on it.
Swatch just made a version of the moon watch that was highly controversial in the watch collecting world.
Really? We should do a podcast on watch collecting. Okay, back to
Mike. I will definitely wear the daylights out of a moon watch chronograph with Metazoo characters on it. Let me be very clear here.
Back to your regular. This podcast has been sponsored by the moon watch. back to your
Omega's going to sue you. I want to be very clear here. You can't do that nonsense. This ain't Min-Max Games, son. They got lawyers.
I think Min-Max has lawyers. Okay.
They know my at.
I'm sure Peter loves it. They're the only retailer at Pro Tour that brought boxes.
That can't be true.
That's what he told me this morning.
God, is that true?
He said, looks like we're not going to have any competition. I guess the other ones flew in. I don't know. I mean, that may not actually be true.
Yeah, Fireballs here, aren't they?
I have no clue. I'm just telling you what he told me.
Call him right now. Call him live. This is great content.
No. Okay.
Pete.
Back to Metazoo. What were your other takeaways from the event?
I can't think about my moon watch, how much I love this watch. So the other big thing I took away was that, man, like, there is so much passion for this game.
Yeah.
Like, people came in from your favorite state, New Jersey, and Mickey's favorite state, New Jersey.
People came from New Jersey?
Yeah, I had 3 of them from New Jersey.
Why would they leave that amazing state?
I asked them that. They said barbecue. We had obviously people from Texas. We had people from Georgia. We had a lot. I mean,
Stacks.
Mm-hmm. Who I called Arts the entire day because his name on the Discord is Andrew Stacks, and the first letter is A, and so it's just I hate Discord.
Yeah.
People, use your real name on Discord. Yeah. Let's make that a thing.
My favorite is they have different names on Discord than they do in the YouTube comment section. So they're like, Louis, did you see my comment? I'm like, no. And they're like, well, it's on this name. Like, how was I supposed to know that was you? It's classic. Love it.
Stacks is an IRL friend, so I don't have a lot of excuse for this. Let me let me say, like, he was well within his rights to be upset by that, and he was.
Good. Yeah, you deserve it. So I think this is super true, and it's something that I think like Rudy's talked a lot about too, with the idea that like the passion is so of these games and of Metazoo particularly is so extreme. That's like what makes me so excited about it. Like even when things don't go right, people are passionate about it and they have an opinion. And whenever I see that, that's what makes me excited about stuff. Like the drive to make things better, the drive to like get this product or that product. I think it's great.
We also had Eric come in from Ohio. I gotta give him a shout out because he was awesome to hang out with.
I should have come. I wish I could have gone.
No, you said you were going to be there, so I knew you wouldn't be there. This is easy.
I never said that I was going to be there. That like none of that happened. I said I will try to see if I can get there. I probably won't be able to make it. Word for word, what I said to you. I love that you just make things up and lie to everyone who watches our podcast and make me look like an idiot. That's what you do.
I don't. It's not that hard to make you look like an idiot. In fairness to me.
Okay, you want to talk about the market a little bit?
No, I want to talk about my event more. I think it made me. I was already excited for Dallas, where I know you won't be as well. And
probably won't be there.
I know, of course not. If your basement's flooding, and it made me even more excited. And I mean this.
Watching my anniversary weekend, but yeah,
I don't care. Watching top tier Metazoo games was awesome.
Yeah,
and you could watch it on the Cashless Society stream. It was totally cool. We had 2 KitchenTableTCGers in the finals, which was surprising.
Yeah, it was who was it? Who was Stacks and who else?
Stacks and the guy with the name I can remember, Sebiolin. Sebiolin. I don't know. He knows who it is.
He knows himself.
Fan of the show. Fan of the show.
I apologize for George's incompetence.
Don't apologize for what they know is true. My takeaway as a store was it was a reminder of how expensive it is to carry new games. That was the other thing that this was a reminder of. This event cost me thousands of dollars.
Yeah, because you flew people in.
I flew people in.
Free event with free
event, free food, free prizes, box of CN1. I gave away 10 spell books, probably 50 decks, maybe 60 decks.
Mm-hmm.
playmat. I mean, we gave away 2 goat signed things, including that idiot Tyler got one. Like, these events are expensive, and I forgot like how expensive supporting new games with major events are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's fair.
I know Goat is working on OP kits.
Yeah. And I think that'll be really good.
That'll be very helpful.
Help the LGS be motivated to run those events.
I think that's part of it. I also think it's a matter of like, I think its hits will be amazing. Like,
yeah,
Goat really gets what makes promos special and what makes them awesome. And I think I'm very much looking forward to the OP kits.
Yeah, it's like the New York Rat King promo.
Yeah,
it's like things like that can get people excited to go to the LGS and play. As long as the LGSs don't abuse them, which I'm sure they would get reported for anyway. So perfect.
And I mean this, like, Flesh and Blood does it better than anybody. If you get busted selling your promos, James White comes and busts your kneecaps, basically, which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way it should be. It should not, like, the thing that, like, there should not be 20,000 warnings for being an asshole to your customers.
Yep.
You should just lose. You should just not be able to carry the game anymore.
Yep. Totally agree. All right. I want to talk about the market. I have a hot take. Not a hot take, but man, I feel like Whatnot is wrecking things.
What are they wrecking?
The supply of singles because of Whatnot on the market is massive.
Okay.
This happens, and I have not been able to verbalize it for a while because I was
hold on 1 second. We gotta have a warning here. Lauren, stop listening right now. He's about to attack your bay.
I've not been able to verbalize it, but until recently, some things have changed. I have a guy who comes into my store every weekend. He comes in with his kids, and he comes in with a stack of Pokemon cards. Like, I'm talking like a stack of 100.
Like an Andrew Stacks. Continue.
Yeah, like a stack of 100 Pokemon, like new cards from Brilliant Stars and Chilling Reign and whatever. And every week he gets on Whatnot and he spends an amount of money. I don't know how much he spends on having packs opened on Whatnot. And every week he comes in and he brings what I assume is 95% of the cards that he has opened on Whatnot into my store and trades them in for store credit, of which he gets a booster box and whatever from, right? And for Pokemon, it's all right. The Pokemon market, the supply is so massive that it doesn't matter. But if Metazoo is so active on Whatnot, which it is, it's incredibly active on Whatnot. All those people who are opening up CN1, opening up Kickstarter, adding all that supply of singles, this is, in my opinion, why the Kickstarter singles are eroding in some value. Also, it's like the market right now, but there's a lot of supply going into the market. Now, there's 2 things to take away from this, in my opinion. One, at some point, you're going to need to see Kickstarter boxes reflect that.
Yeah.
Like at some point, Kickstarter boxes, CN1 boxes, you're just not going to be able to. The amount opened on Whatnot is massive, which is a win. Like, that's a win for those who collect or invest in the market, right? Like, the amount of boxes that have been opened recently is awesome. But the flip side of that is that the singles prices go down, and so then the EV is down, and so then the boxes become harder to sell on Whatnot as a result of the cards being less valuable. If your Mothman now only costs, Mothman, a PSA 10 Mothman was $1,200 a couple months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I know this because I bought one on an auction for $1,200.
What's that today?
Huh?
What's that
like
today?
600, 700 maybe.
I don't know. Like, I don't. I think I think every market right now is feeling some pain.
100%.
I don't know. I'm reluctant to blame Whatnot. I think
I'm not blaming Whatnot.
You are definitely blaming Whatnot.
I'm saying
go ahead.
My takeaways from this are this is a new world for TCGs with Whatnot happening, and if you are somebody who invests in games, I think you can play into it a little bit. Number one, don't spend your money on Whatnot. Number two, like if you're looking to buy singles, this seems like an opportunity.
Okay. So let me say two things. First, Dr. Rudy Esquire did a video about how different games were faring in the recession market.
Yes.
What game was number one?
What game did Rudy say was number one?
What game did Rudy say was handling? Oh,
My
Metazoo. I knew it was something. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Rudy's jacked on Metazoo this week.
Of course. Rudy gets it.
His Flesh and Blood video where he said he was leaving for the Pro Tour, like 10 seconds into the I'm going to the Pro Tour, he said, I'm going to the Pro Tour. I'm also going to be going to a bunch of Metazoo events this year. It's like, oh gosh, Rudy's all in, baby.
Oh my God, am I going to hang out with Rudy in Dallas? Rudy, hit my DMs. We'll hang out in Dallas. Louis won't be there. Don't worry, Rudy. I got your back.
Again, it's my anniversary.
It's my anniversary. My basement is flooding. So first of all, like I agree with Rudy that like Metazoo is handling the recession better than anybody else. So far, it's early, right? We've been in a recession for like 5 minutes. And I want everybody to remember that. This can get a lot worse. And I mean this in all sincerity. Everybody just like, be careful. Like some of you, Louis, were too young to remember like the Great Recession in a meaningful way. It was brutal.
Yeah. The Great Depression it must have been rough for you. How did you and your family?
So like everybody, like this can get worse. Be safe. Be careful. Don't put money into cardboard you need to eat, for Christ's sake, Louis.
Yeah. Eating cardboard. It's not very nutritious.
So, but like I think Metazoo will do fine in the recession because like they have the GOAT. Like that has always been my thing. It's like the GOAT gets it, and like the GOAT is a remarkably good executive, and good executives lead you through recessions. But I get your point about Whatnot. Here is my other point about Whatnot. And this, no offense, Dr. Louis here. It shows your naivete a little bit, I think.
Love it.
All they've done is popularize box breaks, which has been a thing in sports for as long as your little butt's been alive.
Okay.
So all they did was make an app for box breaks, which again has been a thing on YouTube and eBay forever.
I agree. I have nothing against Whatnot.
It sounds like you do. And so
no, it doesn't.
It does. And so like I tend to think like this is good. I tend to think this is good. I don't have a Whatnot account. I know me. I'm not allowed to have a Whatnot account. Metazoo would be the least of my problems on Whatnot, if I'm being honest with you.
I don't have any issue with Whatnot. In fact, like I debate daily, should I start doing Whatnot as a content creator? Daily, I debate that.
Yes, you should. Yes,
no, like I've come to the like I'm not going to do Whatnot for a while. Might not ever do Whatnot, but I more was suggesting the overall attitude of breaks, and we've seen this in other markets too. Like, tell me what an alpha box would be worth from Flesh and Blood right now without the amount of alpha boxes that have been opened as a result of box breakers.
It'd be awful.
Yeah, it would be a $1,100 box, $1,000 box right now. There's been massive amounts opened by breakers. And this, I mean, the same could be true for any game, and the same could be true for all this stuff. So I'm a big fan of, as somebody who likes sealed product, I'm a big fan of sealed product being open. I think if you are looking at the market though, and if you are one of those people who I love the game, I'm all in, and you want those cards, you've got to look at the rate of boxes being opened and then start to evaluate when to buy. That is a new dynamic in the TCG industry that you have to be aware of and looking at. Because once boxes stop being opened on Whatnot, and once people start saying, okay, the Whatnot money has moved to another game, or the Whatnot movie has moved to another avenue, at that point, it's time to start buying singles, was my point.
And here would be my other piece of advice. And this, I think, is like super duper important. When the CN1 cards being banned announcement came out.
Okay, we didn't talk about that.
Well, I just did. You're welcome. Great content. A bunch of people who don't own any Metazoo, have never played Metazoo, don't carry Metazoo, and don't like Metazoo, frankly. All like, I told you guys, this is all terrible. Everything is awful. Metazoo is a scam. I've been telling you all this forever and ever. Whoa. Woe is me. Don't listen to these idiots. They don't, I mean, like, you know why I don't talk about Akora a lot on this channel? On any channel? I don't know about Akora. I don't own Akora. I don't carry Akora. I can't tell you a single thing about Akora because I don't care about it. Yeah. If somebody cares so passionately to stay up to date on a game that they don't own, like, or care about, it tells you they're winning.
Yeah.
The best thing Mike has going for him is his haters, and there's not a close second.
Yeah. We said this a lot. You don't hear about any other game, like some of the most discussed games on some of the other channels are the other social networking, like Discords or whatever, are talking about Metazoo.
Yeah, I mean, like, not even talking about your game. If I were Mike and I had to pick between me or the haters, I'd pick the haters every time.
Yeah, 100%.
That's true. That's even coming from me. Probably his best supporter.
I would pick almost anybody else over you. In fact, I think we need to do applications for the podcast.
Oh, that was a mistake on your part. You're going to get flooded.
I know.
Oh, you can hit them to Louis at KitchenTableTCG.com. Kitchen Table Games, is that right? And it was
that's not my email address.
I don't really care.
That's not even an email address. That's not even how email. I was trying to figure out how wrong you were. It's not even
a lot. Send your resume to him.
You're misreading my point.
The thing that Whatnot provides for me is a good beat on where the action in the market is. Where are people spending their time? And the answer to me is pretty obvious. It's Pokemon and Metazoo. Those are the two. If you go on Whatnot and you open up, what are they streaming? What are they casting? It's going to be Pokemon and Metazoo.
Yep.
It's a good gauge for where people want to spend time.
I think every game has a place on Whatnot. I've seen lots of Magic boxes open, lots of other things, but George, I know it's hard for you to understand this because of your old age, but social networking just puts more of what you're interested in front of you to keep you engaged on the platform. If you watch Metazoo box breaks, they're just going to keep sending you more Metazoo box breaks. That's how the algorithm works. My point with the Whatnot stuff is that if you are buying singles, if you care about completing a Kickstarter collection, you're starting to see. I'm only telling you this because I hear it from people saying, "Louis, I think it's time for me to start buying into Kickstarter. I never thought I'd be able to afford a Mothman, but a Mothman just sold for a price that I thought I could actually afford it for. Do you know of anybody who's selling a Mothman?" Things like that, where you're starting to see prices come down to a more reasonable level for people who want, and that's the time to start buying, because once everybody can buy again, that's when the market goes back up. That's all I was trying to say. And Whatnot is providing that, in my opinion, based on the amount of boxes that are being open. And most people don't want a reverse holo from Kickstarter. When they open up their pack and they get a reverse holo, Lizard Man from Skateboard Swamp, they don't want that, so they sell it on eBay and they try to get another box break and they try to get the Mothman. That's what happens. They're trying to get the chase card. And so if you're completing a set or whatever, this is the time to buy. That was my point. Time to start watching for the time to buy. Okay, I'm glad that we had a big argument about that. What else are we talking about? That it?
I think that's it. We've done enough. You're welcome.
Well, it's been great, buddy.
I'll be at Collecticon in Dallas. Come see me.
I don't think I'll be there.
Shocking. Nobody asked. They all know you won't. Never tell us you won't be there, because we'll just assume that anyway. It's my anniversary. My basement's flooded. I'll say it for you again for the 15th time. Come to Dallas. Galacticon. It's going to be a hoot hollering event. I'll be there. Probably I'll be there. And where will you find me? Oh, I'll be hanging around the Metazoo booth. Goat.
Love it.
Maybe with Rudy.
Rudy. All right.
I have no idea. That's
I will not be there. I will be here making content, like we do. So that's it, everyone. That's May the Zoo be with you, and you can go buy merch at maythezoobeWithYou.com. Not
www.
George can't find his website or can't get his login. And
you made this website.
Yeah, I never had the login.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I think I just redirected the URL to it. That's all I could do. Now that we're actually building a website. Oh, that's also not where you can buy merch. The merch is on my website at captainsmarket.com. That's great. I think, are we releasing your new George shirt?
Maybe. I didn't know about it.
I should send you a picture of it.
I don't like it's all your texts are all white noise to me. They just kind of come and go.
Remember to be kind to the people around you. And this will be with you.
And also with you, Dr. Louie.